My grandfather, who had been helping us siblings since our parents passed away, has been hospitalized. At that moment, it was my sister-in-law who revealed her true nature. I went to consult with a lawyer about the inheritance right away. I will also receive my fair share. I will have our family home seized and quickly liquidated, so please hurry up and vacate the house. My sister-in-law is more concerned about the inheritance than the grandfather's condition. While soothing my anger, my grandfather made a certain request. Upon hearing my grandfather's request, I chuckled with satisfaction. I am Isabella. As there is an age gap between my brother Matteo and me, we have been getting along so well that I don't have any memories of fighting with him. When our parents passed away, leaving us siblings behind, I was in high school. Thanks to the support of our wealthy grandparents who lived far away, my siblings and I were able to live comfortably without any financial difficulties. However, it was my brother, who had just started working, that supported my life when I was still a student. As a substitute for my parents, he visited the school for various things such as parent-teacher conferences and career counseling, and took the lead in taking care of household matters so that I don't have to sacrifice my extracurricular activities or social life with friends. I have nothing but gratitude for my brother, who put his own enjoyment on hold to support my life. After starting my job, I invited my brother to a restaurant with my first paycheck. Thank you so much for supporting me in place of our parents up until now, Matteo. From now on, you can live as you wish. If anything happens to you, I will definitely support you. Thank you. Actually, I heard that he had been dating someone for a year, and he had apparently been thinking about getting married once I found a job. I have decided to wholeheartedly support my brother's happiness. Congratulations! When will you introduce me? When I asked, he immediately brought his fiancée to our house. It's a large house, just as I heard. His fiancée, who introduced herself as Amelia, began to look around the house without even greeting me properly. She's beautiful, isn't she? She is also very homely. He seemed to be smitten with Amelia. We both think we should get married as soon as possible. Are you okay with it? If he wishes for it, there is no way I can oppose it. Of course I'm okay with it if that makes you happy. Upon Amelia's request, they had a private wedding ceremony overseas with just the two of them. After returning from their wedding, which also served as their honeymoon, my brother and Amelia moved into their new home. They were worried about leaving me alone in this house, and they had considered living together with me, but I don't want to interfere with the newlywed couple. The house may be a bit too spacious for living alone, but it is the most comfortable place for me as it is filled with memories and feelings shared with my family. I was beginning to think that my first experience of living alone wasn't so bad. That was when I received a message from my grandmother, who lived far away. I heard that my grandfather has been diagnosed with an illness and will be hospitalized for treatment at a university hospital in Tokyo. My grandparents have been helping me financially a lot since my parents passed away. I immediately went to visit my grandfather at the hospital and urged my grandmother to stay at my place. You have grown into a fine woman, Isabella. I owe it all to you for sending me to college. From now on, it's my turn to help you, so please feel free to ask me anything. Thank you. You and Matteo are my proud grandchildren. When I told my brother about our grandfather's situation and that our grandmother would be staying with us for a while, he immediately came rushing to the hospital. Grandpa, are you okay? Matteo, I'm sorry for causing you to worry. That's okay. You are newlyweds, so don't worry about me and spend time with Amelia. Amelia is worried about you, too. After finishing her business, she is coming to the hospital. Amelia is also worried about our grandfather. When I heard that from my brother, it reassured me. To be honest, I didn't have a very good first impression, but I was relieved to find out that she was someone who cares about her family. A little while later, Amelia came to the hospital. As soon as she entered the hospital room, she asked my grandfather with a serious expression. "How are you feeling, Bob?" "So you are Amelia, Mateo's wife? I'm sorry for making you worry. I'm very old, so it wouldn't be surprising even if I died tomorrow." Ha ha. When TMY grandfather tried to reassure her with a joking response, Amelia looked relieved. "Right? I'm glad that I've started consulting with a lawyer." My brother asked on behalf of everyone who didn't understand the meaning. "What do you mean by consulting with a lawyer?" "Your grandfather has quite a fortune, doesn't he? Even though your grandmother is still alive, you will eventually inherit a considerable amount after your grandfather passes away, right? So, to prevent the distribution from being unfairly allocated to just your family, I consulted a friend who is a lawyer about inheritance." I couldn't believe that she was talking about something like that right after our grandfather was hospitalized. I could understand how she could say that, and I found myself asking her, "Amelia, isn't it inappropriate to talk about the time when my grandfather passes away at a time like this?" "Well, it's an important matter. It's not someone else's matter, is it? You don't like that I consulted a lawyer? You are getting so angry because you were planning to get a bigger share, aren't you?" "I don't want to hear about inheritance or dividing up assets. My grandfather is going to live a life battling illness from now on. We all want our grandfather to live longer. You know, be more realistic than hopeful thinking. I'm telling you this for your sake, Isabella." "For my sake?" "When it comes to inheriting, that large house will also be included as an inheritance. According to my estimation, that old house would fetch a higher value if it were demolished and sold as a vacant lot. That's why I want you to prepare to vacate that house, Isabella." Tearing down the house filled with memories with my parents? My brother was also surprised and stepped in to mediate. "Amelia, what are you talking about? As Isabella said, we shouldn't be talking about that right now." "But, it's important." "It's okay, let's go outside and cool off for a bit." My brother hurriedly took Amelia outside. My grandparents and I, who were left in the hospital room, looked at each other's faces. Amelia spoke in a manner as if she wanted my grandfather to die soon for the sake of the inheritance. How could she say that in front of my grandparents? She also casually mentioned demolishing the house that holds so many of our memories. I can't accept her as my sister-in-law. Why did he choose someone like her? I spoke out of anger. My grandmother looked at me with a worried expression and placed her hand on my shoulder. "Isabella, we are okay." "But, the way she said it." Interrupting my words, my grandfather quietly spoke to me who couldn't calm down. "Hey Isabella, could you do me a favor?" After calming down from my grandfather's words, I listened carefully to his request. That was something even beyond my wildest dreams. A few weeks later, when I went to visit the hospital room as usual, I saw Amelia at the nurse's station. I didn't see my brother there, so it seemed like that she came alone. What is she doing at the nurse's station? I watched her while I was hiding, and I heard Amelia shouting loudly at the nurse who was in charge of my grandfather. "So, I am specifically asking how much longer he will last." Since he is currently battling an illness, it's not appropriate to have that kind of conversation at this time. If you could just tell me how many months he has left to live, it would make it easier for me to plan and act accordingly. Even if he was in a situation that we could tell how many months he has left to live, we would not be able to convey that information without his or his spouse's permission. Then, how is my grandmother-in-law doing? Does she have any pre-existing conditions? I've heard that in many cases, when a husband passes away, the wife follows soon after. Amelia is not only concerned about my grandfather's remaining lifespan, but also about how long my grandmother will live. Perhaps she thinks that if our grandfather passes away, and our grandmother, who is the primary inheritor, also passes away, she will receive even more inheritance. How heartless can someone be? I couldn't stand Amelia anymore, who only thinks about the lives of her important family members in terms of money. I couldn't bear to listen to Amelia's words any longer, so I rushed out in front of her. "Oh, Isabella, you're here?" "Yes, now I know what you are thinking." "What I'm thinking?" "You only think about our family's life in terms of money. You married my brother for money, right?" "What are you talking about? I love Matteo." "The one you love is my brother's wealth, isn't it?" "You are so rude. I will sue you for defamation." "Please feel free to do so. I am only speaking the truth." I showed the materials I had researched in the past few weeks to Amelia. "This is my secret SNS account. Why do you have something like this?" "I have investigated about you. You have been mocking my brother on your secret social media account, haven't you?" "In her secret account that I came across, I will do whatever it takes to marry into wealth. My ideal is a wealthy person without a mother-in-law." And such, all of Amelia's desires had been written since long ago. Around the time when she had just met my brother, she wrote, "I found a wealthy grandson with no parents. I'll definitely get him." After that, it was written in an amusing way how my brother became completely obsessed with her, just as she had wanted. The background of Amelia that I had heard from my brother was also a complete lie. She pretended to have a similar upbringing to my brother to get close to him, claiming to have lost both parents at a young age and struggled on her own. However, when I visited the hometown of Amelia, I found out that her parents were living happily at their home. According to locals, Amelia, whose family wasn't particularly wealthy, had a wild youth and worked in the entertainment industry to earn money for leisure activities. She had implanted an image to my brother that she was a hardworking and serious person, but that was also part of her plan to get closer to him. When she discovered that our grandfather was hospitalized, Amelia wrote even more excitedly on her secret SNS account, "I will soon own the property. I'm glad I endured a boring married life with an uninteresting man for this reason. I will try to make as much of their property mine as possible, and as soon as I get the money, I will divorce him. It would be even better if the old lady kicks the bucket, too." Terrible things were written out of desire. Even though I showed her these copies, Amelia remained calm. "I don't know about this. I guess there are people who write terrible things." To my surprise, she denied that she had written it herself. "Isn't the photo on this account clearly a picture of you from behind? Do you think you can just deny it like that?" "Matteo is crazy about me, you know? He would believe in me more than anything you say. I've been playing the type of girl Matteo likes, so I've won, haha. Dealing with a man who is starving for love after his parents died was a piece of cake. That's terrible. Using the fact that our parents are not around. I mean, use your head, lol. As soon as I get my hands on the money, I'll divorce Mateo right away. So why don't you guys live happily together again? By that time, I don't think you'll have the house because I will have sold it, though, lol. When Grandpa dies, I'll seize the house immediately and arrange for a lawyer to handle the inheritance, so don't even think about complaining. Have you already arranged for a lawyer? Well, I paid plenty up front, so they should do a good job. There shouldn't be any complaints, right? Of course, it's up to you, Amelia, and I don't mind. However, it won't go exactly as you wish, unfortunately. What do you mean? My brother has no rights to inherit. What? In fact, my grandparents have many more children besides my parents. Since everyone has been active overseas and there haven't been many opportunities to meet, my brother probably didn't specifically tell you about that. Our wealthy grandfather, in order to ensure that his young grandchildren would not be involved in an inheritance dispute after his own passing, treated their living expenses as a pre-death gift and removed them from the inheritance rights. Amelia, who learned the fact, is dumbfounded. However, she quickly regained her composure and continued. Well, it's not too late to fix that. The fact that your relatives have money won't change, so while Grandpa is still alive, I will have him rewrite his will. Yes, I'll try to win over Grandpa and Grandma this time and make sure they leave me more of their assets in the will. For that to happen, Mateo needs to keep showing my good side to Grandpa and Grandma. That is not possible. The one who appeared from behind us was my brother. I called ahead in a hurry before confronting Amelia with the facts. Amelia was momentarily surprised, but quickly ran to my brother and clung to him affectionately. Mateo! You are here! Isabella has been saying all sorts of things about me since earlier. I'm sure she's just jealous of me because she's holding a grudge against me for taking her brother away. My brother pushed her away. Isabella doesn't speak ill of others like that. I've heard everything about you. I'm disappointed that you thought of me that way. No, that's not it. How so? Even the past you told me was a lie, and your love for me was a lie too. You were just after my wealth, weren't you? You said it yourself. I can't be with you anymore. My plan to marry into wealth has. After my brother found out her true nature and Amelia collapsed on the spot, I added another blow. Amelia, you said that you would try to win over our grandfather, but that's impossible. Our grandparents have long seen through your true nature. It was our grandfather who asked me to investigate your surroundings while he was hospitalized and unable to move. Our grandparents are not the kind of people who will bend to your will. I also trust the judgment of Isabella and our grandparents. It's embarrassing that I was easily fooled by your lies. My brother has decided to divorce Amelia on the spot. I have recorded all of your previous remarks, so I will contact a lawyer later to see about claiming consolation money. Oh, that's right, you already have a connection to a lawyer. You wouldn't have expected it to turn into a request for mediation for divorce instead of inheritance. With such cold words, my brother sent Amelia away from the hospital. And then my brother apologized to me. Isabella, thank you, and I'm sorry. Because of my lack of judgment, I caused trouble for our family. If it weren't for you investigating, I might have been deceived by Amelia and become her puppet. That's not. You didn't do anything wrong, Mateo. No, I was thinking wrong. I rushed into marriage with the sole intention of quickly starting a family and easing the worries of Mom and Dad in heaven, you, Grandpa, and Grandma. I'm the same way. Even though I felt something was off about Amelia at first, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to ruin your happiness. If I truly wanted you to be happy, I should have said something at that time. I will choose my partner / more carefully from now on. I'll also check more strictly from now on. That's scary, haha, please go easy, haha. When I returned and told my grandparents about what had happened, my grandfather had a relieved expression on his face. Good job, Isabella. No, Grandpa's ability to read people is amazing after all. Of course. How many years do you think I've been alive? Please continue to live a long life. Of course. As declared, my grandfather made a remarkable recovery thereafter and returned to his hometown with my grandmother, both in good health. After his divorce with Amelia was finalized, my brother sold his house and returned to our family home to live with me again. Our life is back to normal and peaceful again. And then, 1 year later, my brother and I visited our grandparents' house. We're introducing our partners to them. I feel a little nervous for some reason. You failed once, haha. Don't say that. His new girlfriend is a wonderful person who, unlike Amelia, cares about my brother's well-being. I was also introduced to her and I liked her at first sight. When I introduced my boyfriend to my brother, he was initially cold, but it was probably out of a sense of protectiveness. As we talked a little, my brother began to notice my boyfriend's good points and gradually came to appreciate him. What's left was what our grandparents would think of him. However, once I actually introduced him to my grandparents in person, all of those worries disappeared instantly. Both my brother's girlfriend and my boyfriend quickly hit it off with our grandparents. Mateo, you found a good woman. Thank you. I can trust this man with Isabella's affairs and feel at ease. Uh-huh. My brother and I breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing our grandfather's words. Our choice was not wrong. With this, we can also have a happy family. My grandmother whispered to us as we looked happy. Grandpa had been preparing your wedding fund all along. He's happy that it can finally be put to use. But the inheritance rights are already. Even if the inheritance rights are gone, you and Mateo are our lovely grandchildren. My brother and I are truly fortunate.